Hello and a very warm welcome at ZIEHL-ABEGG. My name is Ralf Heusser and I am the responsible product manager for the electronic devices of the drive division. Devices like frequency inverters, recuperation units and the accessories. Today I want to introduce our application software ZAmon for mobile devices to you. First question, why do we need an application software for mobile devices? Because in the past or also now we have our operating terminal ZAdyn, a suitable, reliable 4-line display with 5 push buttons, so an easy to handle operating terminal. To be honest, the operating terminal has its disadvantages. For example, it's just a 4-line display, so the overview is not the best, and also the handling is limited, and it's not possible to show any graphical information on this operating terminal. This is one reason why I decided to develop an application software. The other reason is that the generation of technicians on site is in a changing process. So in the past it was accepted to have operating terminals like this integrated in the device or external. Now the operating of our products is by a mobile device like smartphone or tablet is more or less required. So we have reacted to these requirements and we developed the application software ZAmon. This ZAmon app in combination with the Bluetooth stick, ZAmon stick, now is a good combination of our innovative control and drive systems with the modern state-of-the-art communication. Helpful support or practical information and services can now be opened and handled quite easy by the smartphone or by the tablet. What does it mean in the practice, in practical side? Not really much. The ZAmon can be used for frequency inverters ZAdyn 4 and ZAdyn Pro. Only thing you have to do is to plug in the ZAmon stick in the same plug on the same cable that we used before from the ZAdyn. And after plugging in, you can open your ZAmon app and then you will have an overview about all ZAmon sticks which are in the reachable area of the mobile device. The communication, as I told you, is realized by Bluetooth. Now in our explanation we only have one device in the reachable area, so I click the button because I want to operate this device, and then the operating surface of the ZAmon app is opening, and just now you can see the overview. It's much better than with a ZAdyn. Can never be, because ZAdyn only 4-line display. Now we have our nice overview of ZAmon. You see the buttons are in different colors. This has its reasons. The blue dark buttons are for programming the inverter. The light blue buttons are for troubleshooting and analysis functions. The pink ones are for data services, exchanging data, saving recordings. With the golden button you have direct access to the Royal League, to ZIEHL-ABEGG, to the customer service of ZIEHL-ABEGG. And the gray buttons are for administration functions. Let's have a look in the ZAmon app. Let's start with the startup function. You see here it's also quite better than with the ZAdyn because you have first an explanation about the function. So what can you do with this function? So startup assistant will help you to set the most parameters and so on. So you know really for what this function is. And in the startup function, you can select between a manual input. So you put all the data you need for commissioning by yourself, or you have the possibility to scan the QR code of the motor nameplate of the ZIEHL-ABEGG motor. With scanning this QR code, the motor data will be sent automatically and stored automatically in the app. We would like to make it manual, and after selecting manual, you are asked if you want to save the parameters before starting. At the moment it's not necessary because we're doing a new commissioning, so the old parameters are not interesting for us. And then first parameter you have to select or to set will be shown. It's the parameter motor type. Also here you can see below each parameter there will be a small explanation in gray about the function of the parameter. It's not only a scripted number, it's really a parameter name with a fast and small explanation of its function. Let's select the motor type. Is it SMXXX? Is okay. Nominals, and then next parameter will occur, and you have to enter the value for the next parameter. In this case, nominal motor speed. Let's do it. Let's take the same. And so you see the startup function will lead you step by step through the commissioning and ensures that you not forget anything. During the commissioning, the ZAmon app is asking you if you are also working with other components from ZIEHL-ABEGG, like a recuperation unit ZAdyn or a brake activation module ZASBC. If you confirm this, then the app is asking you where have you connected the in and output functions of this additional components, and then you can select directly the correct in and output, and this ensures that you not forget also to program this in and outputs. Let's abort the commissioning. Let's go to the function parameters. In the function parameter you find all parameters which are necessary for a normal operation of the elevator and the motor. Also you see here it's clustered in several menus, in several functions. Let's go to the function travel curve. For example, if you would like to change the travel behavior of the elevator, for example, you would like to change the acceleration, then you go to the actual acceleration, and then it's not necessary to change any values of several parameters. That's too complicated. It's much more easier and smarter to do it by sliding over the screen and changing the travel curve in this way, and you will get a direct feedback how the behavior of the acceleration is changing. And then you just have to store the changing, and that's it. Same function is available for decelerating, also by sliding over the screen you can change the behavior of the deceleration. All right. Last function for parameters is the button functions. Here you find supporting function like travel direction change counter, doing an encoder adjustment after we have changed an encoder, and each function, for example encoder adjustment, is also explained by a small text and what you have to do to work with this function. So also here a much better overview and an easier handling compared with an operating terminal ZApad. If you are on site for troubleshooting, for analysis, most important menu is the information menu. In the information menu you find a lot of information concerning status of the inverter, concerning measurements or digital in and outputs. They are now arranged in a very good overview in several pages. For example, let's go to the page 2. In the page 2 you see the actual travel speed of the cabin combined with the state of the inverter. I would like to show you. I make a travel with my motor, and you see here now the speed is accelerating, the cabin is accelerating and traveling with a speed of 0.5 meters per second in downwards direction because it's minus, and you see it's at the moment in the state 410. On the next example on page 4 you see the measurement values of the motor, very helpful for commissioning, for troubleshooting. You can compare quite easy the reference speed of the machine with the actual speed of the machine, so you see directly is the motor reaching its speed. And you have the output voltage and the output current of the frequency inverter. Also very helpful because you can combine these values directly with the values from the motor nameplate, which are shown in the table below. And this helps to find out, is the motor overloaded, is the motor reaching its speed or not. So you can do this just with one page or one slide. On page 6 of the information menu you can compare your digital inputs and digital outputs. On the right side you see the physical digital inputs, and on the left side you see the software functions. This means you can compare the digital input with the software function. This means you see here input 1 is now activated, and this activates the software function RF for enabling the frequency inverter. Or for example, I switch this button here. Input 4 is activating the travel speed V3, which is the high travel speed in our frequency inverter. And this overview helps you to find out very fast if there's a wrong programming or wrong wiring of a digital in or an digital output. So let's go back and let's go to the menu statistics. In the menu statistics you have statistical data for sure, like operating hours, driving hours, number of travels, but that's not so important at the moment. Today I would show you the error list. Okay, it's an error list, you know it from the ZApegg, not very spectacularly, but if you go inside an error, you have the typical statistical data again, error number, position in the shaft, motor current and so on. The most important thing are the information below. The information below is the cause. This means what is the reason for your problem, and also possibilities to solve this problem will be shown. And this gives you the possibility, or the technician on site, the possibility to solve a problem without opening an operating manual. Okay, sometimes it's necessary to open a manual just maybe for showing a certificate or something else. If the manual is not on site, no problem. By pressing the I button and selecting online manuals, you will be led directly to the download center of our website, and in this download center you can select the operating manual you need and download it on your mobile device. Also quite easy and quite fast. If the operating manual does not help, if the information menu does not help, if the statistic does not help, your last chance is to have contact with our customer service, and this is realized quite easy by using the service button. And template for an email will be opened. You can fill out this template. Very important is what task are you doing on site. Is it a startup, operating, optimization of the travel behavior, or are you in troubleshooting, then you can add additional information, and this helps for our colleagues to prepare themselves for the next call with you or for the next email to you. After pressing OK button, the local client of your mobile device will be opened, and then, very important, all information which are important for our customer service will be downloaded from the frequency inverter. The error list will be downloaded, the parameter list will be downloaded, and the parameterization of the parameterization file of the frequency inverter will be downloaded and attached to the email. And due to this, the customer service has all the information it needs to help you as fast as possible. If you want to save your data from the frequency inverter, or if you want to load data to the frequency inverter, you do this by the exchange function. You see here there are already a few parameters saved on the mobile device. If it's necessary to save the current parameters, you just go to Save Parameters, and you will be asked, do you want? And you say, okay, I want to do it. You give in a name, let's say test, once again, test 3 for example, and the parameters will be downloaded and saved on your mobile device. And for sure, all these parameters can be also uploaded on the frequency inverter. Let's have a look at the recorder function. Maybe a few of you know the recorder function from our PC software ZAmon. With this function you can select 4 analog measuring channels and 1 digital measurement channel, and you can doing measurements, you can store the measurements on your PC. The problem is always you have it on your PC but you want to send it to ZIEHL-ABEGG for analyzing. Then you have to go in the office, having access to the WLAN or the internet, and so it also always takes time until the measurement is reaching the customer service of ZIEHL-ABEGG. With the app it's much more easier. You just select recorder, you will get the 5 measuring channels, 4 digital, 1 analog, 4 analog, 1 digital, excuse me, and then you can carry out the measurements as you know it from the PC version. If the measurement is finished, you can send it directly to the customer service, or you can do your analyzing by yourself. Just open the measuring and you have the 4 analog channels and the 1 digital channel, and then you can do your analysis by your own, or you can do the analyzing in combination with the colleagues from the customer service. It's also possible to zoom in and zoom out if it's necessary to have a more detailed information. This is quite a nice tool and helps also very much for analyzing a problem at the elevator. Coming to the last function, this is the installation. This means you have the possibility to create a virtual installation by scanning the QR codes of the devices from ZIEHL-ABEGG. So you can scan the QR code from the motor nameplate of the machine, you can scan the QR code from the brake of the machine, and you can scan the QR code from the frequency inverter, and all these devices will be combined in one installation, and the installation can be stored in the ZAmon app. Quite helpful, because then all the technical information about these components are stored on the in the ZAmon app on your mobile device, and then you have access to this information even if you are not on site. Quite helpful. last but not least, you can also set a reminder for special or urgent or important workings, tasks on the installation. For example, if you know, okay, on this installation I have to change the ropes in 25 weeks, you can set a reminder by the ZAmon app, and this reminder will be stored in your local calendar of your mobile device and gives you for sure a reminder maybe 2 weeks before the task has to be carried out, and to remind you that there's something to do at this installation. So you see, you have a lot of advantages with the ZAmon app. You have you can program the inverter without having access to it. Very helpful if you have to optimize the travel behavior. You can do this now directly from the cabin. You don't have to be on the cabin roof if the inverter is mounted in the top of the shaft. You have easier access to the customer service of ZIEHL-ABEGG, and you have a smart, easy overview about the operating of the devices. This causes into fast commissioning, fast analyzing, fast troubleshooting, and this causes to saving time and for sure to save money. The question now is, from where do I get this app? This is quite easy. It's a download depending on the operating system of your mobile device. For an Android system, you go to the Google Play Store. From an iOS system, you go to the Apple Store, and then you can download it for free from these stores. And the only thing you have to do is to use it. Thank you very much and goodbye.